And welcome to Witch Hat Chats 2023 Imbolc Celebration, sponsored by Evermoving We Rise, Moonlight Potions and Charms, and Saul Ravencraft, the Texas Mojo Man. Come on in and sit for a spell. I am your goddess host, Miss Nikki. And we have our own little Texas Mojo Man from the state of Texas. And yes, please forgive him. Saul Ravencraft. How you doing, Saul?
I guess I'm okay. I didn't realize I was in need of forgiveness. But thanks for that. I guess I have original sin or something.
You know, all Texans have sins.
Yeah, if you say so. How are you, Miss Nikki?
We are wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. In the land of North Carolina.
Sounds like a wonderful place to be.
Yes, it's raining again. And it's like we don't get enough rain here.
Understood.
You know, they were saying that, oh, we need some more rain. And I'm sitting here thinking, I need to repair my fence. And we're waiting for the water, the land to dry up so we can repair the fence. And then here comes the damn rain. Which, you know, at one time I would say, send it to California, but now California is getting, and it's their season to get it because they get it 3 months out of the year. They get it in December, January, and February.
Right.
And they get so much of it, and the land just can't take all of it because it's been so dry out of the rest of the year, you know, so it floods. And it causes rock slides and it causes all kinds of problems for them. So if they can try to figure out a way of being able to conserve that water, which I don't know how, maybe have it placed in buckets or in underwater conservatories or something like that during the other parts of the year when it's not raining. So that way, you know, when it does rain, they can be able to kind of conserve it in tanks or something like that. Or hell, when we are getting that much rain, why can't we have like a canal or something that kind of ships it over there? So that way it doesn't flood here and it goes over there to where it needs it. Because I know what else you guys have problems with not getting rain at times, right, in Texas? And
yeah, we've had drought off and on. It's
I mean,
inconvenient.
Yeah, because I remember living in California, and they would say, well, we were at a stage 2 drought. Well, I don't know what a stage 2 drought is. For us, if we don't get rain for 2 weeks, we'll call that a drought. And it just means that our grass just turns, you know, a light green, maybe a little bit brown. That's a drought for us.
Right.
For them, the grass is dead. The trees are this nice big green color. They have the wonderful green leaves and stuff like that, but the grass is actually really dead. It's yellow. It there's no grass. You got land scapers out there, and they're cutting dead grass, literally. I
Yeah.
have seen this. So, and people never explained to me what a stage 2 drought is. So, being somebody who's actually experienced more than the droughts that I have experienced, do you know what a stage 2 drought is?
Well, I don't know what the classifications are. I'm sure it's pretty easy to look up on the internet. I do know what it's like to not have rain for months, and to have 100-degree plus temperatures during that time. So it can be pretty intense. We have a lake nearby, Lake Travis, and there's a place in there called Sometimes Island, which is an area of higher rock that will show up when the water level goes down. And during the worst drought over the last few years, that thing spread out and became very visible, and started growing vegetation. And you really see the water diminished like that, and it's pretty crazy. I don't guess everybody experiences not having rain for months. So that's just not something you relate to. But if it doesn't rain, that's just the way it is. So yeah, hopefully weather patterns are changing around a little bit. I've heard that the La Nina and El Nino are shifting around, which may mean a break in some of those drought patterns. But yeah, it is something to experience. And one of the things that they do early on in a drought situation is they restrict watering of the yard, and you gotta just let the grass go. Now, for me personally, I'm not big on landscaping. I'd be just as happy to live in the middle of the woods, and not worry about how nice the lawn looked. There's part of me that would like to set up like a lawn of clover or something like that. I think that would be lovely. But that's not the way everybody looks at things. So you have to be in society.
Yeah, it's different in society. It's usually, most of the time, it has to do with the rich who like their lawns to be all nice and pretty, but it's the farmers that most people are kind of concerned about, because they're the ones that bring us our food and everything into our grocery stores, because those fresh fruits and vegetables that you get just don't magically appear there, you know.
Right.
I mean, they just don't go pop and they're there.
This is truth.
Right. So hopefully, with all the storms and everything, the water gets where it's supposed to get, instead of just being where it's not supposed to be. All right. So we got some announcements to get to right quick before we start our Imbolc 2023. And with Evermoving We Rise, we are back. Yes, we are back, and we're back with a force. We're going to have this amazing ritual that's going to be coming up. It's called the Transformation of Bridget, the 3 faces of Bridget. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking about her as a goddess, and she is arriving onto the island. And we're going to talk about how she transformed from the goddess of Bridget, and she went into Saint Bridget, and how she became from Saint Bridget into the Loa known as Mama Bridget. And this story that we're talking about it is basically we're wanting to express not only the education of how she became who she is, but we want to let people know that she is part of more than just one particular culture, that she was able to adapt, and she never left her people. No matter where her people went to, she went with them. And she adapted to whatever culture that they adapted to. And she was happy about doing that. It wasn't something that she thought about having to sacrifice herself to do it. She just went ahead and she's like, okay, this is something that has to be done. And we went into and we did it. And so we're going to show her of her phoenix side and be able to do this. So we're really looking forward to being able to do this ritual, and it's going to be tonight at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And so if you go into our notes, you'll be able to click on that link and get all of that information. And I hope that you'll come and be able to enjoy it with us. So we're really looking forward to that. With Moonlight Potions and Charms, we are always there for the customer, as we have our quick shipping. We have excellent 5-star products. Moonlight Potions and Charms is a 5-star seller, as we are always thinking about our customer, what they need and what they want, and trying to be able to help them to embrace the power of their own magic, because we have 5-star excellent products and we get their products to them as quick as we possibly can. And all of our shipping has 5 stars. And I'm going to tell you something. When we turn around and when we get an order in, boom, 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 boom. That's what we do. We always make sure that's what you want, and we ship it to you as quickly as we can get it to you. And our products, they work. They absolutely work. And they smell fantastic when they work. They do. And right now we have things that are on sale for our Imbolc. We have our Bridget items that are on sale. We have our Mama Berger that's on sale. We have our Baron Samdi that's on sale. We have Oya that's on sale, and some other select items. So if you go to our Etsy store, and you can be able to use the code Imbolc 2023, you'll be able to save some money while you order, and make sure you can be able to get some of our readings and start the new year off at a very, very good rate. All right. So get that in there. And if you got any type of questions on there or anything, let us know. We get back to you very, very quickly. Usually, it's most of the time is within a few hours, if not within at least 24. So let us know what you need, what you want. We usually try to have it for you. All right. So Saul, what's going on at Curia Arcanum?
Oh, there's all kinds of things going on. 2023 has come out of the gate with a bunch of different activities. Of course, Ravencraft's Vault of Horror continues, and we are showing horror movies once a month, 2 screenings. On the second Monday of the month, we're at Mr. Tramps, which is a lovely little pub with a terrific screening room, not a bad seat in the house. Food and beverages are terrific. All you got to do is show up. And then on the second Wednesday of the month, we are at Doc's Drive-In, which is down south. It's a drive-in movie theater. You get to see everything on the big screen. Their food and beverages are also terrific. And after the movie, you get to come down into Mama Merlot's, which is their underground speakeasy for classic cocktails. They actually go back and research cocktails of the 1920s, like the bee's knees. And I enjoy an old fashioned. I think a really good old fashioned there. And we hang out there. Mama Merlot's is where I've done some of my down the rabbit hole performances and spirit sessions and that sort of thing. And it is an actual haunted location. So if you're into that, I hope you're able to join me for that kind of stuff in the Austin area. And it's the kind of thing I can actually take on the road. If you want to host something like that, let me know. We can make that happen.
Hey, Saul, are you going to be telling some of the tales about is it Mama Merlot's? You're going to be
Mama Merlot's? Well, yeah, they've got some other stuff going on, other investigators and people who talk about all that stuff that are having those conversations, and I haven't necessarily gotten permission to share. You may have noticed that in some of these communities, especially when it comes to things like ghost investigation and that sort of thing, that people get very protective of their connection with that kind of stuff. And I'm not really trying to rock the boat. I want everybody to get along. But we'll see. I'm looking for ways to do that. It's the kind of thing that can be a little challenging to do solo. And so hopefully I'll be able to pull together a group of folks that I can rely on to help look at stuff like that. But at the moment, the universe has not introduced me to them. And that's okay. That's okay. Everything happens at its own pace. Now, I have other places that I'm doing things. I had a wonderful house party that I did in January. I went to Houston, which is about 3 hours away, and did a performance and shared some of my intuition games, even did tarot readings for a congregation that was celebrating their 40th anniversary. And I wasn't sure if that was going to work out. I had to say, are you sure that I'm what you're looking for this? But they were terrific. They even sent food home with me. So you got to love that. And I am getting set up. I'm going to be part of a bachelorette party in February with someone who saw me at the Museum of the Weird. So that was a little while back.
Are you going to be stripping as you're doing your tarot cards?
No. Quite honestly, Nikki, there really never are requests for that sort of thing with me. But thank you for rubbing that in. Thank you for making me feel that.
Well, you can always give them an extra charge for that.
I suppose. No, in general,
got a playlist for it too, if you need it.
In general, people largely request that I keep it on, and that's all right. That's all right. I understand.
Never know. You never know some of these dirty old women. You never know.
But no, that's actually one of the things I'm really excited about. This is they, you expect the stereotype is that a bachelorette party is going to be all that kind of craziness, and these people are genuinely interested in spending time with readings, the artifacts, and spending some time in this weird space, and I'm thrilled. Because, I mean, there are plenty of places to deal with those other people, right? They can go to the bar and do their thing. But I think it's really special to connect with people who, for any kind of event, the house party was a birthday, this is a bachelorette party, people that are not like the others and that want to spend that time doing something a little more meaningful. And I'm available for that. So that's fun. Yesterday, I was at Nature's Treasures for the Spiritual Life fair, which I hadn't done for quite a while, but getting back into that. It's fun to be involved with that. And of course, today, I am bilocating a little bit. I am here with you, but I am also at Curia Arcanum's House of Curiosities today. And I will be there every Saturday and Sunday that I can. Place to keep up with that is my website, saulravencraft.com. That's pretty easy to remember. And you can go to the page, My Weirdly Wonderful World, and you'll be able to keep track of the calendar. There's actually a calendar you can subscribe to that will show you all of the public-facing things that I'm doing. And a lot of public-facing things are free. I guess there's one other thing I should mention. I feel like I've talked a lot, but I do want to mention this, is in February, the first Tuesday in February, I am beginning a class that is all going to be online. And it's about the power of myth. This is a conversation that took place a while back between Joseph Campbell, who has taught us a lot about mythology and how to look at these things, and a journalist that was on PBS for a long time, Bill Moyers. And they have 6 conversations where they talk about the nature of mythology, the nature of spirituality, how humans connect with ideas, how these ideas even got incorporated into Star Wars on purpose. And for me, these conversations, when I reviewed them, had a big impact on me. I hit them again at a point where I was making some choices about how I was going to deal with everything. And the wonderful thing is it gave me such a wonderful perspective. It gave me a very different view of how to look at these and how to get away from this idea of, well, which one is right? Who's the winner, right? Us versus them. And I really began to examine everyone's spirituality in its own context. I wasn't angry about it. It wasn't a competition anymore. It made a big difference to me. And so that is the goal. Had a conversation with someone where it seemed like this would be a good thing to share, and we are firing it up. So it's going to be 6 weeks. It's $30 that covers all 6 weeks. It'll be on Zoom. We're skipping Valentine's Day. We're not going to have it on Valentine's Day because we should be with our Valentines that day. Even if they're our furry Valentines, they deserve our attention. But we'll meet, we'll watch one of these conversations, and then we'll spend some time talking about it. And there may be some take-home exercises from time to time. But it's not for a grade, it's for development. And so it's available to anyone who has access to the internet. And in the notes, there will be a place where you can go straight to it and sign up. We've got some people already signed up, and I'm very excited to do this. I've wanted to do this one for a while, and it was time. And wouldn't you know it, one of the things that I had fall through in January had created the energy where I was able to put this thing together. So disappointment became an opportunity, as can happen if you take the energy back and do something with it, and don't just go outside and scream at God.
All right. So you want to know what our divination is?
You betcha.
All right. So our tea divination today is from the Dalai Lama today. And it says, if you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. So my wise friend here is going to explain what that means.
That is so funny. My wife and I were just talking about that last night, because it seems like that there will be one mosquito that just kind of bothers us. And we'll be laying in bed, and this one mosquito will come up, and it doesn't really seem to eat me up. It just buzzes around my ears and keeps me, you know, keeps me from sleeping and keeps me from doing that. And so it is so funny, because yes, such a thing can be incredibly annoying. Have you ever walked around with a little pebble in your shoe?
Mm-hmm.
And it's killing you, and you take it out, and it's like this tiny little thing. There's a story on Lord of the Rings, where Dominic, they were running along this bridge, and Dominic got a splinter in his foot that was just, it was killing him. And so the medics came in, and they had to take off the hobbit feet and all that, and they were gonna pull the splinter out. And Dominic's like, guys, you got to see this. This is just gonna be massive, because it felt like he had this wooden shiv in his foot, and they pulled it out, and it was like this tiny little thing. But the pain was incredible. And he said for the rest of the shoot, every time he expressed a little bit of discomfort or something like that, Billy Boyd would tease and go, "Oh, have you got a splinter?" But no, it's true. These tiny little things can just grab our attention and grab our focus, and not just physical things like a mosquito or something like that, but emotional things. I wonder what so-and-so is thinking about me. And that's one of those big things. We wonder what people think about us and find out that really they don't. And we carry a lot of that baggage, a lot of that emotion around, when it's just a tiny little thing in the grand scheme of everything. And you could use that energy. You could turn on the light, and you could sit there with a fly swatter going, "I'm going to get that damn mosquito," or something else. and I think in 2023, one of my big things is very much going to be taking my energy back from places I've been giving it away. As one of our guests said recently, letting people live rent-free in your head.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that kind of thing. And it's funny how even when you evolve, you can do better. And so that is very much my goal. And already I feel like I've allowed myself to let some of the little things go and not be upset. That's a choice I get to make as to whether I'm going to be upset by something and whether I'm going to give my energy to it. And, so far, so good. Let's see how well I do moving forward. What little things do you struggle with?
Well, when I saw that, I thought about how little things started out. It's just like Rosa Parks. She didn't set out to be the one to make a movement. Okay. She just wanted to sit in the front seat. That's what she wanted. She didn't want to move. She didn't feel that it was necessary for her to have to get up and sit in the back. She just wanted to sit in the front seat. That's all she wanted to do. She didn't feel like it was a big deal to have to get up and sit in the back. It was a tiny little thing that people exploded into this massive big thing that created a movement. that was it. That's what it was. It was just a little thing to her that created this massive thing. You know, there's so many things that I have done in my life that have created massive things. I moved from California, from North Carolina to California. And oh my God, my family went all to hell. It was the biggest, it was like the biggest rift in the family that I did. And they were just like, what the hell are you doing? Why the hell are you doing this? Are you nuts? You need to go back. And that's all I received. It's phone calls. You need to go home. You need to go home. And especially when I received the phone call on Thanksgiving, my first Thanksgiving there, from one of my lovely brothers, who told me that I'm living in a cult. I'm living in a cult. And that's when I was living with a roommate. His name was Oberon Zell Ravenheart. And if you don't know that name, you need to go look him up.
Oh yeah, I know about him. That's wonderful.
But
I
I'm
think he's
living in a
amazing.
cult, and I need to go to hell home. Yeah. But what they were freaking about was I was doing my own thing and I was beginning to prosper. That's what they were freaking out about. And they had no control over it. And I was happy. You see, when you are happy and others are not, that's when people start to freak out about things. People unfortunately like it when you are miserable because they are. You know, when it comes to the social justice and you think that you can't do anything because you're too small or because you're the only voice or for whatever reason, that it's your conditioned self that's telling you this stuff. Yeah, you may have all these obstacles that you have to go through. But you know what? If it's worth it, go do it. Tell them, okay? Just go do it. Because I'm sure when Martin Luther King started talking about how he thought that he shouldn't be treated the way he was treated, I don't think that he woke up and thought that he was going to start this massive civil rights movement. I don't think that was the first thought that was in his mind. I seriously doubt that was the first thought in his mind. I think it built up to that. See, when you become a part of a movement or when you become a part of a leader, that is a gradual thing. It's not something that you just woke up one day and say, hey, oh yeah, I'm just going to start my own movement and we're just going to go do this and this is what we got all the plans. No, it starts with one thing. And most of the time you think this is how your mind, we are just out of our absolute cock and picking mind. And when you think that, it takes a lot to be able to move forward. So just think about what we just said, you know. It's going to take a mosquito. They can be able to change and they can be able to irritate people. Just think of yourself as a mosquito and you can be able to make changes.
Right.
That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Well, and I think what's interesting was the way
All
that we
right.
both had a slightly different perspective on this. That my first thought was thinking about not letting the little things get to you, which is important. And you demonstrated how even though someone may appear to be small, they can do some big things and make a big difference. Both of those ideas are very important.
All right. And with that, I believe that we can go to hear these wonderful messages from our sponsors. And we will be right back with Witch Chat Chats. Have you wondered what spirituality is? Spirituality is limitless, as it does not contain any boundaries on beliefs or practices. Spirituality's most important component is personal experience and allows one to explore it freely. Evermoving We Rise is a spiritual moving tradition, as our name is our lifestyle, because we are persistently rising and moving forward. We realize that everyone's spiritual journey is extremely personal, but more easily traveled with reinforcement. We'll teach you to become friends with your shadow, emerge your authentic self, and give you time and space to develop your own spirituality. And when situations bump back, you'll have the entire community behind you, as we are a magical family who work to sustain each other. Discover the benefits of working within a society dedicated to helping you grow on your personal path. Visit us on our website, Linktree, or Facebook page and discover why we don't fit in the box.
Kitchen Witch Gourmet is a wonderful way to bring the magic of tea into your world. Kitchen Witch Gourmet is your resource for high-quality loose teas, herbal teas, black teas, green teas, and special blends. Need the perfect pot to brew your tea? Kitchen Witch Gourmet has teapots, infusers, and more accessories to make every brew a pleasure. Check out the broom closet for magical tools and custom art for your divine pleasure. Explore the Bath & Body collection for luxurious herbal baths and personal items that will cleanse and clear you head to toe. Join the Tea of the Month Club for a guided monthly tea experience delivered direct to your home or office. Kitchen Witch Gourmet has all you need to perfectly start your day, end your day, and enhance all the moments in between. Behold all the wonders at kitchenwitchgourmet.com.
Behind the door, and ye should find the return of the Barebone Trio. See no evil, hear no evil, and speak no evil. Skeletons. This Barebone Trio reminds us not to take life too seriously and shows us the sense of humor we all have. Each one crafted with specific detail and are great for the Day of the Dead, your ancestor altar, Halloween, Samhain, Hecate, and the possibilities are limitless. And there is so much more in our wicked store to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you.
Welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. It's me, Saul Ravencraft, and I am here with Miss Nikki Kirby, and today we are looking forward to Imbolc.
Woo! Yeah. Oh yeah, and it's also, according to Santeria, it's Oya Day as well.
Oya.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about Oya.
Oya is Mama Briget's version. Let's stop. Let's redo that. Black. All right, you know how in certain shit, black. Shit. Okay, you know how in certain religions or in belief systems they'll have, like, for example, in Greek and in Roman, you'll have, let's see, Zeus is who Zeus correspond to in Roman.
I believe that's Jupiter.
Yeah, Jupiter. Okay. You know, like that. Well, according to the correspondence for Mama Briget is Oya. So, but as I'm reading this book, and we've had her on the show by Lilth Dorsey, one of the correspondents for Mama Briget is Oya. And in Santeria, which Oya happens to be an Orisha, her day is February the 2nd. So there we go.
Right.
I wanted to mention that as well to be able to contribute to that, because this time we are going to be talking about all of the forms of Bridget, because I believe that we should be celebrating everything of Bridget, because today is her day. And we need to be able to educate and to bring in everybody and stop separating everybody. It's just getting on my nerves how we're just going to say, oh, we only got people that we like on this side and only celebrate people on this side. No. We're stopping that shit. Okay. So we're going to define the word witch as anybody who practices magic, period. Okay. I don't give a shit what type of magic do you practice. You're a witch, period. End of story. Okay. Because witchcraft is a lifestyle. It's not a religion. Okay. It doesn't matter like that. That's what it is. Period. It is a lifestyle. It's not a religion. So there you go. Just like Hoodoo is a lifestyle. It's not a religion. All right, let's get that straight, people. It's a practice.
Fair enough.
All right. So I want to try to include some of the different holidays that we are going to be more aware of, because there's just more than Christianity and more than witchcraft, and there's just so many more that we can be embracing. And Oya is one of those holidays. So let's embrace the Santeria holiday in there as well. So there we go.
Fair enough.
So, Mr. Saul, what do you know about Bridget?
Well, I have some information about her, but it's just information. I don't really have much of a personal relationship with Bridget. So I don't really have a lot to share from that perspective. Celtic figure. Some see her as a goddess, some see her more saint-like, but definitely a protective figure, a bit of a warrior figure, but a softer side as well, dealing with creation and creativity and that sort of thing. But we don't want to hear from someone who doesn't know a whole lot. You tell us more about what we need to know about Bridget.
Well, I mean, Bridget, she originated from the Tuatha tribe. She came onto the island of I can't even say it. It literally went out of my mind.
Well, it can be challenging to keep all these different languages and place names and such together.
Ireland. There we go. Ireland.
That's a tough one.
And in that area, you got Scotland, you got Wales, you got Great Britain. You have all those little countries inside that one big thing. And with her, she is considered to be a Celtic triple goddess. And the thing about her is when it comes to a triple goddess usually has the sky, the land, and the sea, and the underworld at times. And a lot of times when it comes to the goddess of Bridget, they don't really talk about the underworld. So most of the time they don't even say anything about the underworld. They don't say anything about that, even when it comes to her being a saint. But the one thing that really came clear to me, and probably to you, is when it came to her, she is pretty much the goddess of freaking anything when it comes to being, because most triple goddesses are. You know, she's the goddess of the hearth. She's the goddess of the home, childbirth, goddess of protection of women. She's the goddess of the forge. She can be able to help you to, back then when they were doing their wars, she was able to help forge weapons into virtually anything, and to be able to go out onto the battleground, and there she goes. You know, she fought with men. She was able to be at the home and help with the women with their child raising and being able with the childbirth and all that other stuff. She was able to pretty much do anything. That was one thing about her. She was the goddess of fire. She was the goddess of healing, the healing waters of Bridget. People loved her and her famous long red hair that she had. And the thing about it is when the Christians came, and of course, when the Christians came and they conquered the lands, they decided that, I'm sorry, you can't have your own belief system. That's not good. No. We can't do that, can we? Because that is wrong. So we have to Christianize you. We have to educate you. So we're going to turn all of your gods into demons because they are bad. And Jesus is the one true path. Well, they tried to demonize her. And they tried it. And they tried it. And they tried it. And again. And again. And again, the Catholic Church kept saying, no. this woman. And the fact that she was a woman made it even worse. I'm sorry, you can't have a woman. No, 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 no. You can't have a woman as a goddess, as a god. No. Women are the ones that brought sin upon us. Remember, it was Eve. It was Eve who made Adam eat the apple. And don't get me started. It's like, excuse me, could Adam not say no? I don't want that apple. Or maybe Adam is the one who picked the apple and gave it to Eve and said, do you think that this would be a good thing to eat? Or maybe he's the one who picked the apple, ate a bite out of it, and said, hey, this is good. You want to try it too? And she ate it and then gave it back to him. You know, what the hell? Don't get me started. Really, don't get me started on that stuff. So anyway, they just like, no, that you couldn't do it. And so finally, they had to make her a saint. And so they crowned her as Saint Bridget. So as Saint Bridget, she was supposedly an actual person. I don't remember the dates. I don't have the dates in front of me about the dates of her life. According to legend, she was supposedly being taught by St. Patrick. That's BS. St. Patrick and her lived in different times. On top of that, St. Patrick was never in Ireland. And he didn't do half the things that he got credit for. There was no proof of that. And don't get me started on him. And so let's go back to Bridget. Bridget was a little bit rebellious. She did not want to take a man. She did not want to be a wife. And so back then, women had a choice. Well, technically, it wasn't really a choice. Either you had to be a slave to a man, or you had to be a slave to a god, to the god, to the church. I would say to the church. So she chose the church, and she became a nun. But with her work, she was able to help those that needed to be helped. She was able to get a lot more done in the church, more than what most of the men were able to get done. And which she made a lot of enemies this way, with Saint Bridget did. And it was because she didn't take any shit. That was it. She didn't take any shit. She was nice. She was friendly to a certain point. But she also told you the way it was. She created her own cross. She said that this was through the Lord himself, and you'll see it. It's called the Celtic cross. Let's see here. I think I got it here. It's the Celtic cross right here. I've put some things on my Celtic cross for her. This is the luck of the Irish right there. I put it on there. And of course, the sign of the triple goddess right here. That is a triquetra. Okay. All right. That is a triquetra. And that's mainly the symbol of the goddess Bridget, not Saint Bridget. That is not a trinity. Okay. The Trinity does not have the circle inside. There's a major difference. It doesn't have the circle inside here. And then, of course, here's a little bag of gold, money gold for luck. And, of course, let's see, wait a minute. I'm trying to get good right here. And then we've got the dragon, because she, as well as the goddess Bridget, they all have things in common. One of them is she was over fire. She was also over the forge. So she was a mother of dragons back then. And of course, the kingdom right here. Let's see, no, right here's the kingdom, right here. So I put these down there. And Moonlight Potions and Charms actually has a spell kit to obtain her blessing when it comes to this. So there is one way of being able to get that. And you hang it over your altar, which is one of the things I'm able to do here. She actually has her own nunnery, and it's nothing but women on there. It's in Kildare, or Kildare, actually, Kildare. And she has a flame. It's called, and this internal flame was lit, and it's and her nuns actually attend it. And let's see, a few years ago, they actually put it out, but it was relit a few years later because her people, once again, demanded that they relit it. And the church could not stop them and would not stop them. And so they relit it. And it's been relit ever since. And St. Bridget was also known for her healing powers as well. And so when the Irish servants or servitudes, also known as the Irish slaves, were sent to Haiti, she went with them. I mean, just because a person is sent to another country doesn't mean that they're going to leave their deities or their faith behind them. And when she went over there, one of the main religions over there is called Haitian Voodoo. And she became Mama Bridget. And Mama Bridget happens to be the wife of the Baron Samedi. And he is over what is called the Ghee. And the Ghee is over the dead. And he's badass. And so is she. And for me, I call her the dark side, or the dark goddess of Bridget, because she's foul-mouthed, she's the party person, and she has a hot temper. But, you know, here's the thing about Mama Bridget. She's very, very protective of her followers. She's the queen of the cemetery. The first woman who died, who is buried in the cemetery, is usually dedicated to Mama Bridget. She's good at healing. She's very good when it comes to doing social justice. She doesn't like anybody, being oppressed. Somebody who is not getting their fair shake. But she's also someone who's very fair. So if you're doing something that you're not supposed to do, and you go to her and say, "Hey, they're not doing me right," and she looks at you, she knows. Well, why did you do this? And blah 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 blah. She sits there and she's like, she doesn't take any shit. But she is someone who I have developed a very, very deep relationship with, especially over the last few months. And I have really, really enjoyed the relationship and the deepness that we have developed, especially when it comes to the healing. And when she tells you to do something and you follow that, the immense deepness and the rewards you get out of it for both parties is beyond belief, is what it is. And it's something that, to me, has done me a lot better than any witchcraft has ever done. And the point of telling you this story is that Bridget is a goddess, is one of the few goddesses that I know personally that has survived from one religion into another, and she has never have left her people, and she is one goddess of absolute true transformation. And she, not only has she personally demonstrated, but she can also help you to use that phoenix energy and to transform your own life.
We're going to pause at this moment to get some words from our sponsors, and then we will be back to do some activities, some rituals, some divination associated with Imbolc. Get you active, let you make use of this season. We'll be right back.
I'm Saul Ravencraft, co-host of Witch Hat Chats. I understand just how confusing and chaotic it can be to open to a path of magic and manifestation. Everything seems to turn on its head. I want to be an ally as you find the way upon your path. My studio setup will let us do readings, coaching, and exploration virtually, just as though you were sitting across the table from me. One size does not fit all, and we will work together to craft the right approaches to build your practice, your confidence, and your power using the tools of divination, magical works, and spirit connections. It's never too late to embrace a new path and emerge empowered. Go to texasmojoman.com and select Contact to begin. There's a message now. Let's get started working on your very good fortune.
Looking for something a little more witchy? There's no need to call the corners. The search is now over. Introducing The Awakening, a paranormal activity book, part of the Victoria Monday's Paranormal Activity series. A witchy activity book filled with paranormal and sacred geometry pages to color. A do-it-yourself grimoire. And a special 12-month manifestation calendar. Also from Victoria Monday, a modern-day cyber grimoire, a magical book to keep track of passwords and websites. Find these books and more on Amazon.com and also at VictoriaMonday.com.
Witch Hat Chats, we promote magical knowledge, arts, and music from all cultures. We invite you to join us as our guest to share your practice, especially if your traditions are lesser known. Email us at witchhatchats@gmail.com. Tune in every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on our Facebook page.
And welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. And we are talking about Imbolc 2023. Woohoo! Ain't that fun? All righty. All right, so we talked about the 3 phases of Bridget. So now let's go and talk about her Orisha version. Go ahead and talk about this. Now, from the research that I have done, I'll go ahead and tell you about Oya. Now, Oya, I truly, truly respect her, okay? She is the goddess that is a feminist. I really, truly, God, I love her so much because she is a businesswoman. She's the one who you go to if you happen to be an entrepreneur. She is the one who's over the marketplace. She is married to Shingo. She's one of his wives. She's not the only wife. She's one of his wives. But she's also a fierce warrior. She's the one that everybody who's ever watched X-Men, she's the one that Storm is based on. So I've always loved Storm since I was a kid, and I've loved her. So she's the one that has to do with the weather, and she's over the graveyards and crypts. And she is an amazing, amazing Orisha. And I truly, truly respect her. And so I'm going to be, I found this poem by Thompson, which if you actually want to go and look at the poem that Tosan had written, it's in the notes. It's called Oya, Fiercely Bright Goddess. And it's a beautiful poem about her. So if you would give me a moment and I will say it. Queen of the kingdom, the heart of Sango, giving Sango courage, Sango's betrothed. Oya, goddess of wind, tornado, yet the owner of the marketplace. Queen of all seas, creator of lakes and rivers. The waters knows your name. Goddess of storms, Orisha of death and rebirth. Oya, the mother of 9. Oya, the under goddess of Odo. Oya, Oya, the unbeatable warrior Oh, yeah. The summoner of rains. Oh, yeah. Sango's princess consort. Oh, yeah. Thou who walkest through fire with no burns. Oh, yeah. Queen of courage. Oh, yeah. Goddess of speed and energy. Symbol of faithfulness. Goddess of devotion and perfection. Oh, yeah. Goddess of war. Oh, yeah. Our fiercely warrior of old. I thought that really described her a lot better than what I could describe her. Can't hear you.
Yeah, poetry is powerful. I didn't used to appreciate that, but now I do.
And the birds are singing.
A little bit. As you can hear, it's not cold and rainy where I am.
Oh, so she was raining there. She was very active, huh?
Yesterday it was pretty rainy. It was just a gentle rain all day long, and there was a possibility of it getting nasty today, but it didn't happen. So I'm all right with that.
That's good. She controls the weather and the rain. Mm. 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 Oh. All right. So what is in for our Imbolc divination, Mr. Saul?
Well, I'm going to take a moment before we dive in to talk about my connection with Imbolc. As most of you know, I'm a bit more of a thaumaturgist. I am aware of a lot of the lore, the gods and goddesses, but they aren't necessarily a part of my practice. I deal with magic more directly through the universe, with the elements, with the powers that are, and try to work with all of the different kinds of beings and all the different entities somewhat equally. And so when it comes to seasons like Imbolc, another fire festival, I am certainly comfortable with Bridget and participating and honoring Bridget, but it comes to me from a slightly different perspective. In the winter celebration of Yule, it was a time of contemplation. It was a time of looking back on what it was that we have done and where it is that we want to move forward. But mostly counting the harvest, and dealing with those shadows that may have happened in the previous year. Now that we're at Imbolc, it is definitely about determining what seeds to plant. It is definitely about looking forward. We have reflected on what has happened in 2022, Now, what are we going to do about 2023? And so the fruits of that reflection should help generate the goals that we're looking for. So something that I would look for from any divination around this time is, with the seeds that I intend to plant, what is moving forward. Now, we began 2023 with our Manifestasia event, which was all centered around social justice. Nikki has talked to you about social justice concepts throughout the program. Definitely something that we need right now, for everyone to have that level playing field, for people to have that opportunity. Now, not everyone is going to achieve the same thing. That's okay. That's okay. We should all find where it is that we settle, where it is that we are comfortable. Personally, I have a very hard time picturing myself being a billionaire. I am just not willing to put the focus into money gathering that is required to get to that stage. I don't care about it that much. I don't care about accumulating wealth to that degree. Now, I want to be comfortable, right? I want to have what I need. I want to not be as anxious about some aspects of this. And that's evolving, that's coming along. But I'm not ever going to be the richest man in the world. And I state that absolutely. Oh, well, Saul, you've said it, therefore it will never happen. Yes, I do not want to be the wealthiest man in the world. I want my riches to come in other ways. And I think everybody has the opportunity to settle into what really fulfills them. And it's not the same thing for everybody, but everyone should have the same opportunity to settle into that. So as we look toward what seeds we are going to plant, social justice is definitely somewhere in there. I think work and life balance, taking energy back from other places where it doesn't belong, not letting people live rent-free in my head and make me feel obligated for them to give of my energy because they say so. All of those things come together. And there may be seeds that you are planting like that. Today, we are going to use the Witch's Runes. We've talked about this previously on the program. It's not the Norse runes. It's a different style. And I will admit that I find I enjoy the power of the Norse runes. I like using them the way that Alan O'Connor talked about as a correspondent to bring energy into things. But from a standpoint of divination, they're not what I'm most comfortable with. I find it very difficult to hold all of that stuff in my head. The Witch's Runes, on the other hand, I find very easy to internalize. And so while I do have Norse runes and I make use of them for other things, for divination, I tend to use these. And they are, they're straightforward. They stick in my head. They're obvious to me when I look at them. So we're going to look at 3 runes. The first is the foundational rune, or how we're going to deal with those seeds. How are we going to work with that? And the first rune that we get is the symbol for female energy. Now, we all have solar, lunar, male, female aspects within us. I am actually half female on my mother's side, right? We all are. We all carry both the solar and the lunar aspects within us, and yet we act as though we're completely different species. Gender fluidity is not so much about sexuality, although that is a component, but that's what everybody wants to make it about. It is about the understanding that you have both male and female aspects within us, and that it should be natural for you to flow into the male energy when that's most useful, and into the female energy when that is most useful. You'll tend to lead with one or the other, but it is all accessible to you and all available to you, and you should be using both of them together. In this case, this suggests that the female energy should be leading right now. And to me, female energy, when we're talking about that fluidity, is very much about lunar energy. It's about flow. It is about harmonies and allowing things to be as they are, not as they are supposed to be. Whereas the solar energy, the male energy, tends to be much more driven by will, much more driven by precision. We're going to make the plan and execute the plan and celebrate how many check boxes we ticked off, because that is success. Even if it went well, but it didn't follow the plan, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. We got to do a post-mortem and find out where things went wrong, right? Whereas that female energy, that lunar energy, is much more able to flow with circumstances there. So underneath everything, this is very much about flowing with the way things are and not trying to manipulate things. Now let's look at the energy around our intentions now. And what we have is the harvest. The harvest is, well, it's our bounty. It's what we collected. It is the accumulation of everything that happened last year. It's our stores, and it is our starting place for what's going on this year. And so this is the point where okay, fantasy is fine. Fantasy is important. You got to be able to see the vision and work with the vision. But we also got to be able to deal with reality. If this is all we've got to work with, this is what we got. And we can attract more things. We can call upon resources. We can make more pie, right? We can do what we got to do, but we have to appreciate that the harvest is what we have. And we should start from where we are. There's nothing wrong with that. And it's not going to be the same thing for everybody. It's okay too. The universe understands that not everybody has the same resources. And it works with what is there, not what we think is supposed to be there. And the last rune that we have here is flight. Flight is very much about understanding that we can move, that we aren't stuck in one place. You ever been driving down the road and you see a bird sitting in the road and you're thinking, move, bird, move, move, stupid bird. And then at the very last moment, the bird flies away. I've seen this happen when my cat is stalking something. And it waits and it waits. And just as the cat thinks it's got it, it flies away. Flight is something that humans have dreamed of. We have very clumsy ways of doing it now, but that's not what we dreamed. We dream of flying like the birds fly, just taking ourselves aloft. There's the idea of doing directions. You can do directions by the road, or you can do directions as the crow flies, which is a more direct approach that is not hampered by obstacles or anything like that. It's a direct route. And this is something that we have the ability to do. We can escape our current circumstances, but we'll have to leave them. We can take a more direct route, but we'll have to miss some of that journey, right? But nothing is holding you. There's sacrifice if you want to do some things, right? There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. You're going to have to pay the price. You're going to have to do what is necessary. But if you are willing to do that, then all these things are open. So let's look at these again. Embrace that female energy this year. Deal with things as they are. And look for the harmonies that are there. Look for where other people, other resources are connected with you in ways that you hadn't thought of. It's not your way or the highway. The harvest. Appreciate what you have. Show gratitude for what you have. But use what you have. Right? Don't sit around wishing that you had more. That's not going to help. That's not going to help at all. Attract it. Bring it. Do the work. There are people who do the work, and there are people who need to do the work. Be one of the ones doing the work. And honor your wings, the wings that you have been given by your spirituality, by your practice, by the skills that you have earned. You are not trapped. You can take flight. So there is our reading for Imbolc.
Nice.
I do love these witch runes. I've become such a fan since I've gotten them.
Awesome.
And now it's time to make some magic.
Oh, yes. We have to make magic, don't we?
Yes, indeed.
'Cause this is the show where the magic hits the fan.
Merry meet, fiber magicians. It's time for another fiber magic moment. I'm Opal Luna, and I'm here to tell you, Imbolc is here. Spring is coming. We're halfway through from the winter solstice to the spring equinox. And this would be the time, if you lived in Northern Europe 500 years ago, you'd be glad to see any inkling that spring was coming. Hopefully your storehouses are more than half full, and it's going to see you through the rest of the way. All right, well, to celebrate that, we're going to make a spring garland that we can use to decorate a hat like this one here. This is a little pollinator hat with a bee on it. So cute. You could even do something like this, the tree in the Fiber Magic book, to make a little spring. Some people hang little Easter eggs on that later on at Ostara, but you could make yourself something like that. There's a lot of different uses for just a leafy garland. It could even be one of the strands in your hand fasting cords. And it's quite easy to make. Let's do it. All right. I'm going to start out with a slip knot like we always do. Very good. And we're going to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to make a half double crochet cluster. And to do that, you yarn over, insert your hook into the chain, yarn over and pull up, and then repeat that, yarn over and insert into the same chain, yarn over, pull up, and then you have 5 loops on your hook. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You yarn over and pull through all 5 of those. To make the little tip of your leaf, you picot, and you make a picot by chaining 3 and then making a slip stitch into that first chain that you made. Makes a little point. Picot means point. And then you make a slip stitch in the side of that cluster and down back to your base. And that makes that leafy shape, right? And then you just repeat that as many times as you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull all through all 5 loops, picot, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch, and then slip stitch back to your base. There you go. Now, if you want this leaf to be on the other side of that chain, just put an extra slip stitch like you're coming around the bottom of it. And then you'll have one leaf going this way and one leaf going that way. But if you're going to embroider this on something, you could just tack it down where you want it. See? Sometimes I'll do this maybe in a thinner yarn with a smaller hook, and I'll decorate a goddess poppet with it to make her Gaia. I'll just show you one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through all 5, picot, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch, and down the side till you get to your base. And that's all there is to it. There you go. You just continue this pattern until the garland is your desired length. You could put it across your altar, put it across a mantle. I bet you find a lot of different ways to use a garland like this. Very simple, very nice. And if you use variegated thread, then each leaf will be a little different coloring. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you give it a try. And if you do, please comment and please post your finished makes in the Fiber Magic Coven on Facebook. And if you use Instagram, please hashtag Fiber Magic. Excellent. All right, thank you so much for playing with me. You stay crafty. Merry meet, merry part, and merry meet again.
And with that, we're going to listen to our sponsors, and we will be right back with Witch Chat Chats. The Witching Hour is here, and new magical products arrive at Moonlight Potions and Charms. And what appears during the magical hour? Our mysterious triple goddess Hecate key necklace comes in 2 sizes, perfectly aligned with her will, so her devotees can find their way through the darkness. The handsome hand of God statues, believed to be protective talismans of luck, fertility, abundance, and good health, come in black or white. One of the best ways to bring your ancestors with you no matter where you go is our traveling ancestor altar on the go. They come in 3 sizes, small, medium, and large, perfect for all of your needs. They include candles, an oil, a toy for the little ones who passed on, and so much more to honor their beloved dead. And our Papa Legba key necklace are perfect for the devotees of the King of the Crossroads. Comes in 2 sizes, each one specifically prayed over and dedicated to Papa Legba himself. And appearing for the first time, Baron Sam D, and Mama Bridget. Altar on the Go limited edition. Yes, you can take your altar to the cemetery with you. How cool is that? The traveling altar is complete with top hats, coffin nails, a cross from Mama Bridget, and so much more with room for you to add your own item. So show Baron Sam D and Mama Bridget the altar perfect for them. And don't forget, our bare bone trio, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, Speak No Evil, Skeletons, have returned. There is so much more in our wicked store to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you. Anybody can tell you what is on a tarot or oracle card. What matters is seeing beyond what others may not be able to see and help the client to uncover what lies in the mist. What do readings from Moonlight Potions and Charms do? Wednesday I did this ancestor reading, and it was an amazing reading, and it was a detailed reading. And I remember talking to this customer's ancestors, and it was so delightful, and he wanted some questions to be answered about the magic in his family because he didn't know. And his family was mostly like most of our families are. You know how everything is like hush hush when it comes to the magic in his family. And he wanted to know, who can he actually talk to about the history of the magic in his family? And I was able to give him specifically who he can go to talk to about that. What particular deity he can actually go to be able to help him with this. And it was just an amazing reading, and talking to his ancestors. They were such a delight, and they told me so much about this customer. It was just an absolutely wonderful, wonderful reading for him. And I was just so happy to be able to give him this wonderful reading. It's really amazing to be able to give people these readings, these products that's really going to help them, and be able to give back to the community, because this is what Moonlight Potions and Charms is about. We want to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. That is what we are all about. It's to help you to do that. Book now and allow our wonderful staff to take care of your spiritual reading needs. And there is so much more in our wicked store to help you to embrace the power of your own magic. So come on in to Moonlight Potions and Charms at www.moonlightpotionscharms.com and discover the wicked things that ignite the magical passion in you.
Welcome back to Witch Hat Chats. I am Saul Ravencraft. I am here with Nikki Kirby, and as we said just before our last break, it is time to make some magic. And Nikki has set up a wonderful little spot to work some magic for you. And I'm very interested to see what's going on here. So let's take a look at this magical workspace and tell us what's going on.
All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating a candle for Imbolc. Now, what you're going to need is a few things. You're going to need your tea light candle right here. You're going to need some herbs. You're going to need heather, and that is for the goddess Bridget. And what heather does is it creates empowerment. You're going to need your hyssop, and that is for Saint Bridget. And hyssop is to remove all kinds of anything that's sinful or evil or anything like that. Then you're going to need peppercorn. and that is for Mama Brigitte. And peppercorn is trying to get things to be able to heat up. And those are the herbs. The oils that you're going to be needing are going to be rosemary. And rosemary is for any type of women's type of work. And then because you have all three of the Bridgets, you're going to want dragon's blood. And I'm just going to go ahead and include some Hawaiian red salt as well. And you would like to have a glove and a toothpick. All right. So let's get started. You want the toothpick because you're going to be pushing little kinds of marks in here, and you want to make 3, and you want to make them in a clockwise position because each mark is going to represent one of the Bridgets, like that. Okay, so you want to shake up your oil really good. And so you want to try to get your oil into those marks there. Usually I recommend a dropper, but you can also use your fingers. And I always go around 3 times. Make sure you have paper towels. Because I go ahead and tell you something, when you have herbs and oils, it's not that you may make a mess, you will make a mess. Okay? And then you want to wipe off your bottles. Then you want to shake up your dragon's blood. You also want to wipe off your gloves. With dragon's blood, you want to make sure it's pure dragon's blood. You don't want it to be cinnamon in it, because a lot of people who have dragon's blood have cinnamon in it. And you want to make sure it's not cinnamon in it. And I put 3 drops. Make sure it goes really in there. Go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of the hyssop in there first. Now you don't really need a whole lot of things. Now you can always melt this and you can put it in there wet. But I'm going to be honest with you, I don't have time for that. Make sure you cut the wick first because you don't want the wick to be really, really long. You can cut it afterwards. But I'm going to put this all around. Just a little bit more of the hyssop here. Whatever you don't have left over, just put it in there. Okay. Like that. And then I'm going to get the heather. And then I'm going to get out 3, no more than 3 of the peppercorns. because it's going to represent each one of the Bridgets. Okay. Now, if you want to, sometimes I do this. You might want to dip a little bit of this back in there. Okay. We don't want to forget our salt. Just want to dash because this isn't a big one. There we go. Now this is red salt. This is not pink salt. This is red salt. You want to make sure you kind of get most of these herbs away from the flame, because you don't want any type of fires to occur, okay? Now they're going to melt into the wax. And what I do is I go back and I start pushing things down. And as I'm pushing things down, I say a little blessing. Then I go back as I'm doing this to keep it away from the center. Like I said, you don't want any flames or fires, because we are dealing with the fire element. See, this is too big. So instead of throwing it away, we're just going to cut it up a little bit. This is the reason why we have our toothpick as well. Pick that sucker up. So where's my one out here? Oh, it's in here somewhere. There it is. There it is. All right. Once you're ready, now make sure you have cut this right here, because they're usually a lot bigger. And that's another safety precaution. So when you're ready, you want to get back to your spell. And the spell is, make sure you light it. Yeah, here we go. Good. Here we go. Goddess Bridget, Saint Bridget, Mama Bridget, all three Bridgets on this Imbolc day. We ask for your prosperity blessing on this day. Help our phoenix rise beyond our boundaries, aligning us with our soul's journey on this day. Mm. 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 It is done. It is done. It is done. Ever moving we rise. Ever moving we rise. Ever moving we rise. And then you just take the candle and you place it on your altar and you let it just burn out. Make sure you take your glove off and everything else and properly dispose of it. And there's your spell.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very straightforward. And I liked the workshop table there. That made everything very clear.
Oh yeah. Like I said, if you want to, you can melt all that wax with one of those wax warmers. But you know what? I just didn't want to do that. But it also mixes all of the oils too, and if you don't want to mix all the oils, especially when it comes to the dragon's blood oil, if you want it to keep it in its particular places as you're pushing down with the oils, then just do it that way. And besides, it's your candle. It's not like somebody else is going to see it.
Right.
So do it your way. All right. Oh, so that is all for today. God, that went pretty quick, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Mm. And also during your ritual, make sure you hydrate.
Definitely.
So that is all for our show today. Join us next week when Saul and I will be chatting with Deborah Castillo. Embrace your power, support your community, and keep your fuzzy friends, your babies, your family, your friends, and yourself safe. And have an absolute magical week. And happy Imbolc and happy Oya Day.
I know some people who like to chat. I think they're witches, how about that? And every Sunday at 12 o'clock. And if you're hurting, they're willing to talk. Nikki, Kirby with that black stone. I agree, ever moving we rise. Life and soul will the beautiful mind. I give you blessings under moonlight. I know some people who like to chat. I think they're witches, how about that? And every Sunday at 12 o'clock. And if you're hurting, they're willing to talk.